Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Max and Juan cast. Max, how you doing tonight?
Doing good one. It's a Tuesday. It's new for us.
It's
We
Tuesday.
both were busy boys. We both were busy.
Busy bees. All right. I was in Disneyland, the happiest place on earth, while losing in fantasy football, but it's all good, America's in the championship, so it's all good.
My team. My team.
Max,
Let's go.
about to start a America corner every week,
Yeah.
possibly.
We're in the Champion League of Mexico, La Liga, whatever they call it.
It's not La
Mexico
Liga.
League. I know. I don't know what it's called. The league.
It's the
Playing
Mexican soccer
Monterrey
league.
bums. We beat Cruz Azul. Chemos, if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Look, if you know, you know. Better subscribe to the channel, man, if you guys are not already. Okay, we appreciate all the love and support that we get. Make sure to like this video, comment down below. Week 14 is in the books, y'all. Kind of a slow week. It wasn't really a crazy week as far as implications go. We did learn some things though. And I would say the most entertaining game, Max, I think we can both agree on was probably the Rams and the Bills. Insane
Yeah.
game, one of those classic, like, ain't no defense gonna be played this game. Nobody's gonna turn over the ball. And we're gonna go at it. And it was two great talents on the field, I would say. I don't think the Rams are a great team. They're a good team, but Josh Allen, man, what a performance. 6 touchdowns. Congratulations if you had him in fantasy. You most likely won.
Except, not you.
Yeah, not me. Yeah, just want to throw that out there.
Let me ask you a question. I mean, shout out to Josh Allen, 3 rushing touchdowns, 3 passing, never happened before. This game one to me was just something I've been like dreading for the Bills. And it's like you see them beat good team, you see them beat the Chiefs, but it's like this game is just like the worst feeling in the world to me. Like as a Bills fan, like I'm flying into LA right when the game ended. Bills fans are all over the airport looking sad and no kidding, like just disheartened. And I feel like this is like the nightmare game where it's like if you play a team with the talent of the Rams on offense, their defense can't stop nothing. Like I'm not surprised. It's like, hey, they're well coached, right? But talent wise, look at the Rams offense, like Puka, Cup, Tutu Atwell, DeMarcus Robinson, Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, Stafford. It just scares me, dude. And this is just like, oh, it's rearing its ugly head. And this is why I'm like, you just asked Josh Allen to be Superman. Yeah. And he did a Superman performance and you lose.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. This is what you've been talking about with the Bills. And honestly, like, it's an even more of a gut punch, the fact that the Chiefs just keep on winning, because that's what they have their eyes set on. It's the number 1 seed. It's for the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl berth in the AFC to go through Buffalo. And it's a clear advantage. They have a big arm quarterback that plays well in the snow. We've seen that last week. You would love for the playoffs to go through Buffalo on the AFC side. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to go through Kansas City. They just keep on winning. Black magic. But this is a game you need to have. Sean McVay, hell of a fucking job. Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, and not only those guys, Puka Nacua, Max. And I think he's one of these guys where he's kind of flown under the radar as far as his second year because of the injury to start off the year. But man, are we ready to put him in that category, Max, of the same talks that we had with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson as far as being like the guy?
No, I don't think he's that guy. I think he's like the next tier down. I think a lot of it is the Rams offense. It is Sean McVay magic. Like, honestly, this is going to sound crazy. I feel like Cooper Kupp is one of those guys. Like, he's that next tier down. And for 1 year, he had the magical year, like of a receiver we've almost never seen. But has he ever touched those heights again? I know there's been a lot of injuries, but even before, you were never like, damn, Cooper Kupp's the best receiver in football. It's kind of like, oh, he's really good.
Yeah,
he's really good. But this Rams team, they're dangerous. I think it's going to be them or Seattle. we know about Arizona. We know the Niners are pretty much done. I know they beat up on the crappy Bears, but Bills fans, this was like a red flag type game. Like, damn, this is like always in the back of your mind. Like, if we play a team with talent, we could really get our butts kicked. I mean, look, I understand Josh Allen made it close, and they got one stop in the second half one, but it really wasn't that close of a game. Like in the beginning,
Yeah.
like Josh Allen had to do the unheard of things we've never seen before
And they still
to
lost.
make it a game. And it's not a recipe. It's just not a recipe, bro. You can't like that's what I'm talking about. Where they're like, this is a Buffalo team that could run the ball. Where, dude? Like some games they can run it, and some games they are like the worst running team in football. It's just no consistency. And I know Keon Coleman's hurt, but Dalton Kincaid. But do you really think one day are gonna like change
No,
the
they
outcome
don't.
of this
They
game?
don't. They don't. It's what you've been talking about all year. I've kind of been a little bit more drawn into the Bills this year. Especially after the Chiefs win. But you've stood strong. You've stood strong. Uh, every single game that they've looked really good. You're like, hey, yeah, Josh Allen's amazing. The Bills are playing good, and they're a well coached team, but they don't have the horses for some of these teams, and it was an example of that. Like they were just outmanned. It seemed like Kyron Williams was just making more plays. Puka Nakua was making plays. Cooper Kupp was making plays. Matthew Stafford, and that's all really it took. And on the Bill side, it's like, who was the guy that was trying to show up? Khalil Shakir, who made big plays, but he's not Cooper Kupp. He's not Puka Nakua, you know? Ray Davis, James Cook came up short. Again, it's like they're pass rushers. It's like Gregory Rousseau, Von Miller. It's like time and time again, the Bills just tend to fall short in games like this where other than Josh Allen, you're just looking for the guy. And you think it should be Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper had a pretty good game, but it's still not enough, bro. They still need a
He's
little bit
he's
more
he's good.
firepower.
They don't have anything great. They have no
Yeah.
great weapon.
Yeah. So the Bills fall short. It's gonna be a tough sled to get back up because they're 3 games lost now compared to the Chiefs one. Um, on the Chiefs side, they beat the Chargers by a field goal or 2 points, whatever it was. Field goal at the end of the game. Crazy black magic once again. The Chiefs just get it done. The Chiefs just get it done, Max. And I got something to say. I put it on our docket. Me and Max usually talk text about what we want to talk about on the show. And I put Broncos and Chargers frauds. I think this year for the AFC West has been the perfect year to have a good record and get into the playoffs because of the strength of schedule. I challenge you, Max, to say what was a very good win as far as beating a winning team, a team that's going to go deep into the playoffs on the Charger side and the Bronco side that they beaten. And you can't find one.
Well, here's the one thing I say. One, why I don't necessarily think they're frauds. I definitely don't look at them as Super Bowl contenders, but I definitely look at them as tough outs, teams that can win a playoff game. Teams that's like the Chargers might not have they've hung in those games, like they hung with the Chiefs. And we both have talked about how the Chargers like offense is anemic, right? It's literally the arm of Justin Herbert and crappy receivers. They're missing Ladd and McConkey. They're probably only good receiver. But for even with Denver, it's like, hey, you've got some good pieces. And we both thought like, hey, they're a year away, and they're kind of ahead of schedule. So I wouldn't go with it as that far as like calling them fakers. But I see your logic, and I feel like that's just some biasness popping up in you because you hate
Maybe
those teams,
just just a little bit,
and
but
your team is literally the worst team in football.
yeah, that's
No
true.
offense.
No, that's true. But let's go over their schedule. Week 1, Raiders, worst team in the league. Panthers, at the time, like worst team in the league. Pittsburgh Steelers lost 10-20. Chiefs lost 10-17. Beat the Broncos. Good win. But the Broncos are another team where I don't think they're that good. Arizona Cardinals. They lose that game. Monday Night Football. They beat the Saints. The Saints ain't shit. They I don't even think Derek Carr played that game. Cleveland Browns won that game. The Browns weren't that good. Tennessee Titans, another bad team. Bengals, I think they're another team that's just not that good. Baltimore lost. Beat the Falcons. We're going to talk about the Falcons later on. They're not that good. Then they lose to the Chiefs.
I I agree with you though, but I'm saying like they're not getting like pounced except in the Baltimore game. Like they're not. I don't get what you're trying to say. They're fakers. Is any who thinks they're anything good? Like they're a
I
good
think the
team.
outside perspective of the Chargers and the Broncos
But
are
again, though,
like,
you're not taking into consideration expectations when expectations were 0 and kind of low,
I
and
think
then
the
you have a good
Broncos
year. You know
were
how it can
zero
feel.
expectations, not the Chargers. I think the Chargers to
The
some
Chargers,
people,
I feel like I was on them before you, and I was like, "Yeah, they're going to be good. I know what Harbaugh's capable of.
yeah,
They're going to play a good defense." And I feel like you see the writing on the wall where it's like, we get some pieces. This could be a dangerous team next year.
yeah, yeah. I just feel like a lot of Charger fans out there and some people from the outside looking in the NFL's lens think that the Chargers are really really good. Like they're a contending team. They have a really good record, so you expect them to be good, but I don't think they're that good of a team. I think they're one of these teams this year, especially from the AFC West. The schedule is working in their favor. They're winning games that they're supposed to win against bad teams, and their record is showing for it. But I think in the playoffs, I don't think it's gonna be a good side. I don't think they're a tough out. I really don't. I was thinking that three
Hater,
weeks. No, I was thinking that 3 weeks ago. I was giving them a
hater.
lot. I was giving them a lot of credit. But I think I've
They
already
are they are just as tough and out as the last time the Raiders made the playoffs. In your heart of hearts, you
no,
fucking know
I
that.
don't think so. Who are they gonna beat?
If well, who? The Chargers or Denver?
The Chargers, both Denver and
Houston. Houston, they could beat Houston. You know that. I bet in your heart of hearts you like kind of think they could low key steal one from the Steelers.
I don't
Come
think the
on.
Steelers. I think they can steal
Like
one
they're
from
not
Houston.
honestly, I think the Chargers could beat fucking Buffalo. Like I truly like that's how like
That'd be
that's what I
tough.
think of Buffalo.
Yeah,
Like Buffalo would lose that game.
I don't know. I don't think their defense is as good as the stats show. Justin Herbert, I feel like gets hit a lot. Yeah, I don't like the receivers. It's like Lab McConkey or nothing. I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised if they get blown out in the playoff game. Call me a hater, whatever. Like you said though, expectations are something else as far as our perspective goes. So kudos to them. They're winning games. It's easier said than done. You can have easy opponents on your schedule, and you just have to get it done. Some teams lose those games. So, I just wanted to bring it up. I just wanted to go on the record about it. A lot of people are hot on the Chargers. Max
Haters.
Max lives under a
Hater.
rock when it comes. You know, he doesn't know what's going on out there. That's why he's the
Yeah.
best. That's why he's great on
2
the
and
show.
10.
That's why he's great on the show,
2 and 10.
though. You're great on the show. You don't have anyone else talking in your ear. I got people talking in my ear, bro. That's what it is. Anyway, what else did we have on the docket, Max? Falcons. Let's talk about Atlanta. Let's talk about Kirk Cousins and the boys. Look,
I mean, first of all, I think their problems run deeper than Kirk Cousins because their defense was getting shredded.
how bad was that, Max, with that Justin Jefferson touchdown and the DB's just like falling on the ground?
He switched stick to the wrong guy. Didn't know. I really think the Falcons' problems go deeper than Kirk Cousins. Like I think Brian Flores had a beat on them. You've seen them struggle with this type of thing, and part of that is Kirk Cousins' limitations. Like he's a statue, right? Like he can move in the pocket, but there's no like plays to make, and it just makes the Penix thing look even weirder. Because truthfully, I don't really feel like Atlanta's got much of a chance to make the playoffs. Maybe they could sneak in as a wild card. Maybe they get hot, but they've been really bad the last 4 games. Like I don't think he's thrown a touchdown. He's like 8 interceptions. Bad all the way around. It's just not looking good. And like I said, drafting a quarterback, it's not like Kirk Cousins is playing at an MVP level too, where you could be like, oh well, obviously we could sit Penix, right? And Penix isn't the 30th pick in the draft or 25th. He's the 8th pick. It's a weird situation, and I think it could devolve into a dumpster fire.
I don't know what it is about Atlanta, man. Shout out to Max when we did the buy or sell or hold. I'm pretty sure Max had them as a sell candidate, and they were.
Yeah.
I want to say they were like 5-2 at the time when you did that video, and a lot of the writing's on the wall with them, and we'll see what happens. Like Kirk Cousins, to me, man, it's just one of those deals where are we gonna kind of learn from our mistakes with this as far as getting a quarterback after a torn Achilles, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, and putting some real chips in him? Like, is this gonna be the last year for a while that we see teams put some risk on it, like put some dollars on it? Because we've seen two examples this year of guys who don't really look the same. Like, I know it's not all in them. I know you said, like, hey, the Falcons got deeper problems, but I do think the mobility is an issue with Rodgers and Kirk Cousins. I don't think they have the same spin on the ball as they did. And a combination of it is like guys that are just fucking old and a really bad injury last year.
I don't know how much the injury has to. I mean, the injury definitely has something to do with it, but it's also like just natural decline, like you said. So yeah, I agree. I agree. It's definitely not pretty. It's not definitely a good time to be an Atlanta fan.
Like
It's pretty rough right
I
now.
seen a stat max on like a advanced metrics or whatever. You know how they like measure the ball as far as how the
Hmm.
velocity of it. Kirk Cousins, since the first time they've been doing this as a stat database, as miles per hour throwing the ball, Kirk Cousins was the lowest ever quarterback with like a minimum of like 100. I want to say like 100 throws or
Oh,
something.
that's surprising.
That's fucking wild, bro. Like I think that
Yeah.
shows to the injury a lot. Like I remember in the beginning of the year, like after week 1, I think I mentioned this as far as the way that he was taking snaps. Like he didn't want to go off his back foot. He was flat-footed. And
Yeah.
before in like Minnesota, his stance was just a lot different. So it's just a
Playing
weird
more in the pistol too,
right.
which is something weird. You would think like I get we like the pistol, but you're gonna ask your $40 million a year quarterback coming off an Achilles who's never done it, 37 years old to do it.
Yeah.
It's weird. I honestly, man, I would think about giving Penix a look, but I know I kind of
Like when's the look though? Because as of right,
I
he's
don't
he's not gonna
know.
start this
When you get
week.
eliminated from the playoffs, right? Like it's gotta be
So
that time.
they're 6-7. I'm pulling up their schedule right now. So they play. They I think this will be a great week. They play the Raiders on Monday Night Football. I think this will be a great spot for him. Honestly, the whole season. Because look, they play the Raiders, then they play the Giants, and then Commanders and Panthers. Now the Commanders and Panthers, say what you want about the Panthers, they've been kind of, fighting in there. Um, but I think this is the time, man. And it's not going to be this week for sure. They
No,
already came
it's
out.
not. You
They
can't. You can't.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, one. It's literally has to be when you're eliminated, and you literally go out there and be like, "Hey, we've lost. Like, we don't want Kirk. We want to protect our investment. We're gonna send this kid out there, and hopefully he doesn't look too good and he doesn't look too bad."
Yeah. I say for sure if they lose against the Raiders, you start them against the Giants. You start them.
Yeah,
Me,
yeah.
personally, I think you start them.
Oh, I would agree with that. I'd agree.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to that game, by the way. I'm going to be there. So I'll see Desmond
Why do
Ritter.
you torture yourself?
Desmond Ritter revenge game, Max. I'm all in. I'm all in. I do this. I might legitimately make a paper bag. Hopefully, I get on TV and you guys see me. Anyway, um,
Hey, one thing about that, shout out to Max Crosby. He's played like 600 snaps in a row, most ever for a defensive lineman or something. Shout out to that.
I mean, fucking monster, bro. Nothing else to say. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Max. We suck. Anyway, what other games, Max? Did you want to talk about? Nothing else. Like I said, there wasn't really nothing major. What about
No.
your Eagles against the Panthers?
I guess we should talk about Philly, and I mean, we struggled against them. Like they're a pain in the ass. Like they're playing at a really good level. Like Bryce Young didn't play that bad. He had one ball that sailed on him that kind of shifted the tide of the game. Saquon was good, but he wasn't like 20 yards here, 30 yards here. It was kind of like a bunch of 7 and 8s. But I think we should talk about the trouble potentially brewing between AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. I don't know if you saw the comments. Brandon Graham said those two kind of were friends, and now it's not. Then he backtracked on them. AJ Brown was asked, "What do we need to improve?" He said, "Passing." Obviously, those are directed at Kellen Moore and him. And I think he does have a point in some sense because I think what's happened is, and this is just my take, and I'm not behind the scenes, is Juan just keeps sneezing through the fucking show. Be
They can't hear
unprofessional.
it, but way to put me on blast.
Yeah. I would say this. He was covered one on one by I think Michael Jackson, Michael Johnson, like one of the worst corners in football, like by a PFF. You don't give him a chance, like, and I think this is why because I think Jalen Hurts is like I don't want to turn the ball over, like he's kind of lost some aggression, and I think that's what's kind of led to AJ Brown kind of having a little bit of a quiet little stretch here because Jalen Hurts the first few games was throwing it, throwing picks, throwing big touchdowns, big gains, and I think he's really reeled it in. And I don't know the stats. I just know what I've seen on the field. It's been a lot of Saquon Barkley ground game, short pass game, which AJ Brown's good at slants and little digs, but I mean, what he's excellent at is throw that ball up to him and let him go make a play. And I think that's what's kind of leading this divide. And I hope it's nothing serious because I feel like it's the type of thing that could derail a season.
Yeah, I hate to see it because you know how big of a AJ Brown fan I am. I love AJ Brown, but
And they were friends. Like
this
there
is
was
some
like a big
this is some diva shit, Max. This is some diva shit. This is some Devontae Adams shit. As far as like, you're winning football games. You won 9 straight, Max. 9 straight, right? For the Eagles,
yeah, correct.
9 straight
And
fucking games.
real quick one, just to piggyback off what I said. Here's his passing yards per game in the last like 6 weeks. 236, 230, 200, 220, 179, 118, 108. And I mean that game's against the Rams, the Commanders, the Cowboys, right? Like those aren't great defenses. But I think that we're playing a style of football where it's like we don't want to make mistakes. We're going to kind of ease back the aggressiveness, and that's what you lead to. But it is diva shit. I agree.
Yeah, it's diva shit, and I'm sorry, you run the fucking ball. That's just my opinion. Like, why are you gonna go out there and pass the ball all out there? I understand they struggled with Carolina a little bit because if
He's not
Xavier
even having
Leggett
a
just
bad year.
just
He's got 50
catches,
catches for 840 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's
yeah,
going to get 1,000
and
yards.
that's with
Like
him
it's
being
not
hurt.
bad.
That's with him being hurt a
Yeah,
couple games.
exactly. So, yeah, I mean, who else was doing that? Debo Samuel, same type of shit, like diva
Yeah,
shit, bro.
yeah,
Only difference is Debo's playing bad.
right.
AJ Brown hasn't really played poorly. It's just the recipe's changed, right?
Yes,
Like you feed Saquon.
yeah. You feed Saquon. Um, your offense is working, bro, and you're winning football games. And honestly, you should just be happy with being on a winning team like that. It could be the other way around. Yeah, I don't like it. I hope nothing brews over. This is where Nick Sirianni needs to show why he should be back in Philly this year if they don't win a Super Bowl or they don't have a playoff berth. I mean, playoff berth, Super Bowl berth. Because right now it feels like if it's a first round exit, Nick Sirianni's done.
Yeah, I
Sorry to
agree.
say.
I agree.
Regardless on how it looks. If he loses, one and done, he's done. I don't see him coming back as good as you guys look this year. And this is one of those things where, okay, handle the situation. AJ Brown's over here yapping and yapping. Maybe you have a game this week. Who do you guys play? Who do you guys play this week?
I think we played the Steelers this week. And it'll be a really interesting how we use AJ Brown. Like
Yeah,
if we're like getting him the ball, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's like coaching. Like, hey, we're gonna
right.
get our fucking dog the ball. Like
Yeah, get him
it'll be
going.
interesting.
Yeah, get him
And
going.
hey, realistically, we shouldn't really be able to run the ball that much. This is gonna be a
Right.
passing type game for us. So we'll see.
Right. Get right
We will
game for
see.
AJ. Let's get him involved. Let's see how Nick Sirianni handles this situation because this is where you prove yourself.
Let me add one thing. It also kind of makes me appreciate Devontae Smith, a guy who's never had a chance to be the number one. because AJ Brown's been there, or when he was a rookie, and we just again played such a style of football, just run the ball, and you've never heard a complaint from Devontae Smith. So I should appreciate that.
Yeah. Vontae Smith is a true pro, bro. But yeah, Eagles 9 straight. Bryce Young, I just want to say this, Max. He continues to look pretty impressive. Pretty good. I love the way he handled himself against that Eagles defense. The Eagles defense is no joke. He had a couple of good balls. I thought he threw a rope to Xavier Leggett.
Leggett screwed him on that one.
Yeah. But shout out to Bryce Young. I'm thinking about we should make a video at the end of the season. That's going to be a great off-season topic as far as Bryce Young goes in his development, and really comparing the beginning half and the second half and some of the differences that we see, whether it's his feet, his eyes, just everything all around, the play calling. It's going to be interesting to see. I think me and Max will probably deep dive that at the end of the season and really get some film breakdown on Bryce Young, because it's impressive to see a guy like that where you're thinking that he's going to be an all-time bust at some point in this season. Like he's for sure probably done with the Panthers at the very least. And it's looking like maybe we don't draft a quarterback. Every week we're saying it. We've been saying this for the last 2 weeks, but it's getting real now. Against a really good defense where he's showing some of the capabilities. And every week you're seeing like, okay, like that's what I'm talking about. That's the shit I was looking forward to seeing when he got drafted. So we'll see what happens. Just wanted to see that Bryce Young part. Max, let's do one more thing about week 14. Let's talk about the Lions and the Packers. This game was on Thursday night. I would argue it was probably better than the Bills and Rams game, depending on what you like to see. It was a really good game, especially for Thursday night football. The Packers come up short. Of course, the Lions get the dub.
I'm shocked Detroit won that game.
A lot of questionable play calls and a lot of questionable calls as far as the officials go. So which angle do you want to take? Do you want to talk about Dan Campbell's side, or you want to talk
about Dan Campbell? You can talk about the refs. That's your baby to hate the refs, Raider fan. I think we need a wheelbarrow to get Dan Campbell's balls into the arena every game. I really agree with his play calling. I mean, obviously, like, I think they're the first team since 2000 to go for it when they could go for the field goal with like. But I'm like, yeah, bro, like, I get it would be crazy, but like their defense is so depleted, right? Like, you got all your money on that side of the ball. You're that good of an O-line, like, go for it. Like it's not like, oh, this was to get in the playoffs. Like, if it's to get in the playoffs, yeah, kick the field goal, right?
Yeah.
But I appreciate the aggressiveness, and I think one thing he's learned this year, which I haven't seen as bad from like the NFC Championship game, is knowing when to be reckless. And I understand like this game could be like, no, he was just reckless, but they went 5 for 5. Like they all worked.
No, he didn't didn't go 5 for 5.
Was it 4 for 5 or something?
4 for 5. Yeah.
4 for 5. Sorry. Yeah, that was, I'm sorry. But I hope it doesn't just let him think like the NFC Championship game, because I think we agree they win that game if they take some field goals.
I don't know, man. I feel I'm going to be honest, bro. When I was watching the game in real time, my jaw dropped. Like, I couldn't believe that he was going for it. And part of that is because we just never see that. And part of it is because you usually see that against a guy like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. And I know how good Jordan Love is. Like, we're Jordan Love supporters. But I thought that was fucking insane, bro. I thought it was insane. And I just feel a little bit different about it. I feel like if he wouldn't have got that, it would have been a big ass fucking mess, bro. Because automatically you go back to the criticism in the NFC Championship, like you said. It's like that rears his head. And now that would have been a problem as far as going into the fucking playoffs. It's like, oh, Dan Campbell, like, it's just in your fucking head. Like, yeah, it worked out. Fucking Jared Goff fell down and they still got it. I like the play call. If you were going to go for it, You know, you don't put it in Jared Goff's hands. You put it in your offensive line and your fucking bell cow fucking knuckles running back. But wow, like that's fucking insane. It was crazy to me. And I'm very interested to see how it works out in the playoffs in that situation again, because it's gonna come. That that situation, that same exact thing, it's gonna come up, and I'm so excited to see what he does. And I don't think he's gonna blink an eye, and I think he's gonna go for it. And sadly, I don't think it's gonna work out the same fucking way every single time. And that's in that type, like they were on what, the 30-yard line, Max? And they fucking
Yeah, it's
went
a
for
chip
it?
shot.
Dude, like
Yeah, 4th and 1.
that's crazy. It's crazy to me.
They need a wheelbarrow to get his nuts in and out of here.
Like I was jaw drop, bro. Um, uh, that's crazy, bro. And on the Packers side, they're a problem. They're a fucking real problem, bro. They're getting their groove. Jordan Love made some of them amazing throws in this game. Shout out to Josh Jacobs, where they're kind of finding their identity. Said it about 5 weeks ago.
I will add Detroit. The defense is so depleted right now. Like I hope they can get healthy. You did see Zadarius Smith.
Yeah.
Like you saw pops of him, but they're like just losing guys left and right.
Yeah.
So
They're on their
they really need that bye.
like what, 5th linebacker, I believe.
Yeah.
Like,
They need that bye bad.
yeah. I'm excited. I'm getting close now, Max, to throwing Green Bay in that tier with Philly and Detroit. Like the way that I seen them play Detroit this last week, I think they can hang. And I think it's going to wind up being the Lions that are not going to have to play both teams. I think the Packers are going to be that team where they got to go through the Eagles and the Lions. And we'll see.
That's a tough road right now.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Shout out to the Packers, though. As far as the officiating goes,
what's new?
I think the Lions are so good, though, Max. They get those calls. I think that's just the reality of it.
I don't know. I will say this. It seems like whatever team is down, they're like, oh, you can hold. No problem. Yeah. Like, there's been instances where Jalen Carter gets held like every play, and I'm like, just because they're down. One thing I do hate is jersey pulling for DBs. It's like, if you see the jersey tug, I feel like you should throw the flag.
Yeah.
But sometimes they don't. Sometimes they do. I'm like, what's the logic here? Like, there's no consistency. Like I always say, like, and it's also too like the last 2 minutes of the game. Yeah, you can murder. No problem.
Right.
No problem. No big deal.
But like you said, what else is new?
Something happened the Sunday night game where Monday night, Micah like speared Joe Burrow in the helmet.
Yeah, he grabbed his face mask and they didn't call
no problem.
Yeah.
No problem. It's like, how?
Right. Yeah.
How's it not?
Cowboys are a mess. That's just the most.
Shout out to them. Hire keep your coach.
Keep your coach.
Don't fire anyone.
There you go. I think that's gonna do it though. Week 14 in the books. Yeah, we'll see about week 15. A couple of teams were on buys this week. I'm gonna be at the Atlanta game, Atlanta and Raiders. So we'll see what happens.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I know. I love my life.
I'm gonna pray for you.
But
my goat.
So we have another segment, Max. This podcast is gonna be extra long because we're adding this one to the mix. But if you guys are just here for the recap, that's it for the recap. We're going to do something special, though. Welcome to a little sneak preview, little appetizer. We'll probably do it again in the off season, but we want to go over some of the off season acquisitions, whether they were traded, whether they were a free agent pickup. And we made some tier lists for you. Some grades, actually. We're going to grade them out. Let me pop this up on the screen. Hold on. There you go.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, I got the schedule on here. There we go. That's a lot better. Okay. So as you guys can see, we got a couple candidates. Got more than a little couple. We got about 15 plus 24. Guys. Yeah, 24 guys 24. To be exact.
12, we're going to take turns. Basically, whatever. You can start first, and we'll just work our way down.
Yeah.
I'll start. Actually.
So for the audio listeners, because we do got some people that audio listen. S is basically GOAT tier. home run fucking.
One's never played a freaking video game where you have to get like S tier and like that S medal's the best
Well,
one, I
not
guess. So he
everyone has
didn't
played
know.
that game, Max. All right.
Sonic the Hedgehog?
I never played
Ever?
Sonic, honestly.
You're a bum.
More of a Mega Man guy. Um,
Yeah.
A, B
Self-explanatory.
for mid. For C, basically, we put mid. And then obviously for F, we put bust. Okay. So that's the worst of the worst. Let's get it started. Go ahead. You start off, Max. We got Brian Burns, New York Giants, signed a big contract and got traded for some draft capital.
I'm gonna put Brian Burns in B. I think he's been good. Not like the special wrecking ball we've seen in Carolina. I think the Giants are a mess. He's kind of suffered through that. Their defense isn't very good. They have a good D line, but they can't cover nobody. Brian Burns is a B move. You gave him a lot of money. He's been good, but not great. If we're doing this list in a couple years, he could easily move up to A. He's really talented. I really like the guy. It just hasn't really panned out as well.
Yeah. It's just one of those things for the Giants where I don't think it made sense for them to get him. I think they thought their team was in a different place than what they thought.
Correct. I agree.
Part of it is I think their GM is definitely going to be probably fired after this year. So that's part of it, like trying to make the team as good as possible right now and not really looking into the future. Let's go to Calvin Ridley, who at the time when he signed the contract, most guaranteed money, I believe, for a wide receiver. I'm going mid. I can't put him as a bust because he hasn't been that bad. He's had some good games. Part of that is garbage time, looter in the fire type shit. But this is why like the NFL market just sucks. Like that's what happened.
Yeah, they overpaid for him. And I get why you did it. It's to find out about Will Levis, but I agree mid. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, mid pick. They traded DeAndre Hopkins, so that also added like some stats to him, but just not a good move. You don't do this if you're the Titans, man. When you look back at it, but hindsight is 2020. Carlton Davis, Max, where are you putting him?
I'm going A. I think he's been a really good addition to the Lions defense. He can play man. He's been a really lockdown corner for them. He's not like an all-pro or anything, but in terms of moves and going out and getting a corner that they desperately needed, I think it's an A. It's worked out really well for them.
Yeah, the value's there for the contract. He's not getting paid like a world amount of money. They didn't give up much for him. And where would their defense be without him? That's the way I see it.
Yeah, because I think we know Terrion Arnold's like really raw.
Yes.
And really needs some work before he's ready. Yeah. But Carlton Davis has been a good corner, whether it's man or zone, and he gives them the flexibility to play zone where, we can't trust Terrion Arnold for a second.
Yeah. He's a dog, bro, and he fits Detroit so well. All right, let's go to the next guy. Let's go to Christian Wilkins. I'm going to go mid. I can't put bust just because he did get hurt. He was playing above average before he got hurt. I wouldn't say he was playing on a fucking crazy level or a great level. He got hurt in a very stupid way. It was like in a celebration. You hate to see it. Just not a good look though. The Raiders paid fucking a grip of money for him. He's a mid pick for now. It could pan out maybe, but just all the way around, this is like your worst nightmare when you sign a guy like Christian Wilkins. It's like underperforming or get hurt. It's just, you hate to see it.
Yeah, I'll say he was good when he played, but he didn't play a lot. And like you said, he got hurt in a bad way.
Yeah. Okay, next up, we got, who is this? Is this
Danielle Hunter.
Danielle Hunter. Where are you putting
right?
him? Yes.
I'm going to go A. He's been a wrecking ball for them. Just A. I think he filled the void of Greenard. I'm not sure what his stats are. I don't really look into it. I just look at what he can do. He has been very good, especially without what's his name being there. Will Anderson, he's been really banged up. I think he's been a really good piece for them. I'm going A. It's not like a home run, but I would say he's towards the bottom of A or he's at the top of B. But I would lean towards A.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards more of really a a B, maybe even a mid. That's just my opinion.
No,
The,
mid's crazy. You're
I
crazy.
like this is the way I see it. I think Jonathan Greenyard is the better player. I think the Vikings uh ended up on top with that whole transaction because essentially it was a swap. Essentially,
Yeah.
they wanted Greenyard. They got rid of Daniil Hunter. It worked out like that. They wound up going on different teams, but the fact that you lost out on Jonathan Greenyard, who is a player who I think is ascending and getting better each week, and what I've seen, I just think he's been playing better, bigger plays. I like Jonathan Greenyard a lot more. I don't like it for Houston. I don't think he's been that impactful.
Well,
Part of
here, let's put him at B. I think he's the top of B. Then I don't agree with the mid, but I can agree with the B. You swayed me a little.
yeah,
I'll give it up to you.
just because I would give him a little bit of pass, Max, just with this. Their whole plan obviously was like, oh, Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter. Will Anderson's been hurt, so he wasn't brought in there to be the alpha. But man, like, just imagine you put Jonathan Greenyard on Houston this year. Will Anderson gets
Yeah,
hurt.
it'd be nasty.
Yeah, you have that guy still. So just a tough look.
Okay.
it-
Who's next?
let's go with Derrick Henry.
S. We can agree.
Yeah.
S. He's been really great for them.
Yeah, self-explanatory. Just a great pickup, especially for the expectations that me and you had, especially me. I swayed him like in fantasy. Also, like you just don't see running backs at his age doing stuff that he does. They fall off a cliff. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's a great player. Home run pick for the Ravens. He's an absolute fucking difference maker. All right, let's go to Gabe Davis, who got paid a shit ton of money. Max.
I'm going bust. I don't know why they gave him the money. I think there's a reason Buffalo let him walk. He's your average NFL receiver, but he's getting paid too much money, and I don't think he helped them at all. Like, to me, he's been really a non-factor.
Yeah.
Like, I know their offense has been a joke, and again, I'm not sure what his stats are. I didn't really look into it. I just know from watching Jacksonville, and I've watched a good amount of them, he's just not done much. And like, obviously, he's got 20 catches for 230 yards. Yeah. Later.
To me,
See ya.
to me, it's kind of the same thing that I mentioned with the Vikings and Texans. It's like essentially they picked Gabe Davis over Calvin Ridley, who the salaries are not the exact same, but they're pretty damn close as far as like guaranteed money he probably got. And to me, why wouldn't you just stay with Calvin Ridley? Calvin Ridley's a better
Who's
player.
a much better player.
Yeah.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah. I don't get it all the way around. Okay. Jerry Jeudy, interesting guy. I don't think we would have had him on here 2 weeks ago, but now we have to because he had a great fucking game on Monday Night Football, and it just skyrocketed him into the conversation of like top 10 receivers as far as numbers go, not talent wise. I don't think so, but just numbers wise. Where are we putting him, Max? Because this is probably the hardest one.
I lean towards a B, but it is your pick. So tell me what you think. This is your guy, really.
I'm gonna put him at an A, and the only reason why I put him at the A is because what they like gave up for him, what they're paying him.
I think he's getting 16 mil a year, which isn't like mid money now. It's not like top of the line.
Yeah, like it's a fucking value, bro. For him to be putting up those numbers, it's not resulting into wins, but it's at least a guy that you can build on. And half of this list is not all about like the play that you're doing, but more so like what are you bringing to the table as far as like your salary?
He's the 20th receiver in terms of like contract.
Yeah, that's a
guaranteed.
value, bro. Like half of this game is like value. Like what are you getting value back? And to me, like the next guy on the list, like J.K. Dobbins, I think it's the same thing. I think you can argue that he's been.
A.
I think he can be. I
know
S.
he got hurt. Yeah, and I'd put A because he's been banged up. But like, what a bounce back year! I mean, I think he's the comeback player of the year. I don't know who else could win it. Like what he went through, 2 Achilles, ACL, leg, just all bad. I'm happy for J.K. Dobbins. He's a hell of a player. They miss him badly.
Just the circumstances that he was in. I think Joe Burrow's probably going to win the award because he was hurt last year and he been tearing it up this year. But I agree with you. Like, I think J.K. Dobbins' road was a lot harder than Joe Burrow. I would argue that he can be S tier just because of the dirt cheap money that they're paying him, and just like that's what you ask for, bro. Like if you're paying a guy dirt cheap money and he's giving you top 10, top 15 production, that's a home fucking run for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go to Joe Mixon, who I'm gonna put in the S tier. This is a guy where
Wow.
I mean, he's been home run. He's been hurt, so his numbers are not really comparable.
I was thinking A just because the injury, but yeah, when he's on the field, it's an S. He's been amazing for them.
Yeah, he's the identity. Like, where would Houston be if they didn't have Joe Mixon? They've been struggling all year in the passing offense when Nico Collins has been hurt, and Joe Mixon has been their identity. It's been the run game. And honestly, Cincinnati's missing out. I know Chase Brown has been good, but I think Joe Mixon was a big part of that Cincinnati fucking offense, bro. Like just to like keep it balanced. I think they're like too pass heavy now. And with the loss of Joe Mixon, they're feeling it. And so I'm gonna put him at the S just because he doesn't have the numbers as far as Derrick Henry goes, like maybe with the yards. I know he definitely has it with the touchdowns. S tier for me. And they got him dirt cheap. Dirt fucking cheap, bro. Okay. Let's go to Jonathan Greenyard, who we were talking about earlier a little bit. Where are you putting him, Max?
I would put him in A. I don't think he's a like home run S, but I think he's an A. He's been really good.
Yeah.
He puts together another big year, has a huge year, like it takes another leap. He could be an S, but I think he's an A, top of A type guy.
Yeah.
He's really been.
I agree. They gave up a little bit of something for him. It wasn't like they got him dirt cheap. But just a great like offseason acquisition, like as far as like a move goes. Like you get rid of a guy like Danielle Hunter, who's good, maybe you're head scratching, but you get a guy in Jonathan Greenyard who's an ascending player. These are guys that you want, ascending guys. And Jonathan Greenyard's that dude, bro. Big fan of him. Let's go to Jonnu Smith. Another guy, dirt cheap. This is value here. What's the value you're getting from a guy that you're getting?
I thought he was done after Atlanta. He was like a non-factor on Atlanta, and he's fourth for receiving yards for a tight end. He's got a good amount of touchdowns. He's been a big part of their offense. I think it's an S tier signing. Well, I cannot believe the year he's had. Like I thought he was pretty washed.
Yeah, completely agree. He's been amazing. I want to say, does he have more yards than Tyreek Hill?
He has, let me tell you, he's got 692. Tyreek Hill, Jesus Christ, come on. Tyreek Hill.
I know for sure he probably has more touchdowns.
He's 100 yards behind, same amount of touchdowns, but like that's crazy.
And I think that's
Tyreek Hill just had a huge game.
Yeah, so before this week, he had more. Tyreek Hill beat him out because Jonnu had a tough week. He only scored the overtime touchdown. That was it. That's the only catch he had. But yeah, Jonnu Smith, in the tight end market where it's pretty dry out there, you get a guy in Jonnu Smith who has showed us signs in Tennessee, like of being that guy as far as like, oh shit, like athletic dude, touchdown machine. He's showing it in Miami. Great signing, bro. That's what you look for. That's the guys that you want to target in free agency where they're under the radar. You get them for dirt cheap and you get top 10 fucking production from them. All right, Jonnu Smith, S tier. Let's go Josh Jacobs. Is it my pick or your pick?
It doesn't matter. I think we're in agreement.
We're in agreement.
Matter.
S tier. Kind of the same thing as Joe Mixon. As far as like falling under the radar. Pickup. Everyone was slobbering all over Saquon and Derrick Henry, which, not blaming anyone for that. But Josh Jacobs and Joe Mixon were those guys that were falling under the radar, and they signed with great teams, and they're reaping the benefits of it. Great offensive lines, and they're putting up touchdowns, and they're putting up yards, and they're putting up massive production. S tier, that's what you want in a free agent. All right. Let's go to Justin Fields, Max. We signed for dirt cheap.
I'll take this one. Mid as can be. I mean, before we saw him, I would have gave him a B. but we've seen the offense with Russell Wilson, who we're going to talk about a little later. He's mid, and that's not to say he can't pan out for them in a couple years, but right now his best value is just running the read option at the end of games.
As of right now, it's mid, but
Yeah,
to
it could
me,
change.
though, I would put him in A. Just because taking Russell Wilson out of the picture on what we've seen from him when he's on the field, he was winning games, he was throwing touchdowns, he was running the ball.
I could see B1. I don't think A. I think A
I
is
think
giving him too
obviously
much
bottom
props.
tier A, nothing crazy, but I can argue that he's been in an A. And honestly, as far as the Steelers go, it's a value fucking asset, bro. Because if anything does happen to Russell Wilson, he's there. How confident are we in the Steelers with Justin Fields starting? If Russell Wilson were to get hurt this week, I would feel pretty confident.
Okay. I still would give him B, but you make some valid points. I agree with you.
Yeah, just because what they fucking pay him, like they're paying him like the minimum, right? Like
I
some,
think no, I think he got traded there, right? And it's like,
and he's still under his rookie contract or something.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's not much
Yeah.
because of the trade.
And then they got him for a 6th-round pick, like you said. So they got
Yeah.
him for dirt cheap. Let's go to Keenan Allen. I'm gonna go
This would be
bust.
surprising. Yeah, I agree.
Bust.
He fell off a cliff. Chargers moved on at the exact right time. Very rare thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's bad. I think like this is the start of him just declining, and the Bears have been a freaking mess. And Roma Dunze's there.
Yeah.
It's just a mess. Mess. Chicago's a mess.
Yeah. I agree with you. As I want to just sing the Chargers praise. Usually the Patriots are the guys to be doing stuff like this. Bill Belichick's not there no more. Tom Brady, obviously. But the Chargers, this was a great move. You move off of him. He didn't pan out for the fucking Bears. Great fucking move. Bust. Total bust, bro. Let's go with Kirk Cousins. Where are we going?
Going mid. It's been, I honestly haven't seen anything like a great stretch of Kirk Cousins play. Arguably his best stretch was the end of the Eagles game and then the next couple weeks, and now it's been really bad. So I'm just going mid, and I think that's valid. They're 6-7. They're under really, what are they? Like 0-3 last 3 games, maybe 0-4. It's not been great, and the Michael Penix thing leads into this a little bit too. And they paid a grip of money.
I think
for Kirk Cousins.
I think it's a bust. And it's on the higher tier bust. He's probably the highest tier of these guys.
See, I just don't. I don't think you give him bust if he gets them into the playoffs. Like you just can't do it. Like right now they're 6-7. They're prime. If he makes the playoffs, to me it's mid, and I think they will. They'll sneak in there somehow. Mm-hmm. But if he doesn't, it's a bust for sure.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree with that. But if he doesn't make it, like it's a bust. Terrible offseason, just horrible from Atlanta as far as like this new regime goes. And it's just not a good look, bro. Like the whole Michael Penix thing to throw in, just not good. L'Jarius Sneed, I'm going to take this one. I'm going to go mid. Are you wanting to go bust?
No, I would go maybe I would go mid or bottom of B because I think he was decent. Yeah. He got hurt so quick.
A lot of people, look, the Titans have been bad this year, record-wise, and their offense has been atrocious. Their defense has been very solid. I wouldn't say great, but it's been pretty solid as far as a team where they come out with some pride and they're tough to score on. I know they had the Washington week. It looked really bad against, the Commanders, but they've been solid all fucking year. And part of that has been having big talents like Jeffrey Simmons and fucking L'Jarius Sneed. He's fallen under the radar because they suck. But I don't think it's been like a Nnamdi Asomugha type of fucking year as far as just him just getting burnt all over the place. He's had some bad looks in the early part of the season, but he's been pretty fucking solid in and out. It's just the contract for me. If he didn't get paid that high amount of money, I would have put him in the B tier. But to me, the contract that you're paying him, I want you to be a little bit better. As far as like,
I get it.
Yeah, just a lot better than that. But mid is fine. A lot of people might think that we'll put him on the bus, but mid for us. Odell Beckham, I think this is
bust.
Just for the memes.
Yeah. Bust.
Why is he a bust, Max? I just want to hear it.
He's done nothing. He's barely played, and when he's out there, he's got like 2 catches. He's just there to hang out in Miami. Like he was decent for was he Baltimore last year?
Yeah, Baltimore.
He was solid. He's a non-factor.
Yeah. I have nothing to say about Odell. He's fucking trash. Like yeah, he's done. He's not that guy no more. Let's go with who is this? This is
Patrick Queen.
Patrick Queen from the Steelers. Where are we putting him?
I'd go B, top B. I think he's been good for them. Nothing like. I thought like last year in Baltimore, he looked like an All Pro. This year, he's just looked good. I
Yeah,
wouldn't say he's anything.
I'm gonna argue that he's an A. Just I think expectations for me. Um, I thought he was gonna fall off a cliff. I didn't think he was gonna be that good because I'm a firm believer that he was a sidekick to Roquan Smith, and that's the reason why he was succeeding. But he's been great for them. He's causing turnovers. Probably leads them in tackles. I'm pretty sure top 3 in them. So yeah, B, and I would say at the top of B. I think he's
Okay.
been really good for them. Russell Wilson, where we putting him?
S for sure. A guy we thought was washed. His played splendid. I mean, I would lump up Sam Darnold here too. S. Like I cannot believe the year they're having.
Yeah,
Again, a guy I would argue both of these guys would kind of deserve a case for comeback player of the year because they were kind of thought to be dead.
the thing that sucks is that you can't win comeback player of the year, NFL standards. If you weren't hurt, they always use that. So I agree with you though. Like Russell Wilson was a guy that was thrown under the bus. Like everyone just kind of wrote him off, and he was trash. He didn't work out in Denver, and look at him now. Like he has his fucking groove back. We didn't talk about the Steelers in our recap, but Russell Wilson continues to fucking drop dimes. Like he's been amazing. Sam Darnold, same fucking thing, bro. It's unbelievable. I credit more of O'Connell for that, and the cards
I
kind of
agree.
worked out in his favor as far as the JJ McCarthy situation, because I do think JJ would have been starting obviously if he was healthy. But shout out to Sam Darnold, bro. You sign him for dirt cheap. He's been fucking amazing, bro. They're a fucking playoff team. They're a real fucking threat. Saquon, let's just do it right now. S tier.
S.
Been amazing.
The top of S tier.
Yeah, the top. Let's
I mean,
fix that.
obviously, these guys all coming up. I think Xavier McKinney's going to be S. I think Zach Bond's S. This is like the S tier like road.
Yeah.
Like Xavier McKinney's arguably the best safety in football, turnover machine. Zach Bond was someone who was a DN. They made inside linebacker, and he's just been a difference maker for the Eagles, whether it's pass rushing, pass coverage, just being athletic sideline to sideline. Just tremendous all around. I mean, I think this was like these 4 guys or 5 guys, Russ, Sam, Saquon, Xavier, Zach Bond have just been difference makers, huge difference makers for their teams.
Yeah. I like myself some Saquon. Saquon's been amazing. Pretty self-explanatory. Xavier McKinney, a guy that came from the Giants. I'm pretty sure he's like the interception leader this year.
Yeah, he's a turnover machine.
Yeah. And Zach Bond, I mean, Max said it best, but no one really expected the Eagles to have this guy like in Zach Bond on how well he's playing.
It was supposed to be Devin White. It was supposed to be Devin White.
Yeah, the Eagles didn't think that. They signed Devin White. They made like the Shaq Leonard trade last year. They were just all over the fucking place, bro. And for them to have this gem that came out of Zach Bond, it's just like that's total fucking value, bro. Great fucking signing, bro. Great job by the Eagles.
Absolutely.
So little recap for you guys. S tier guys. As you can see on the screen, Zach Bond, Xavier McKinney, Sam Darnold, Russell Wilson, Josh Jacobs, Jonnu Smith, Joe Mixon, Derrick Henry, and Saquon Barkley. On the A tier, we have Carlton Davis, Jerry Jeudy, J.K. Dobbins, Jonathan Greenyard. B tier, we got Brian Burns, Daniil Hunter, and Patrick Queen. Mid, Calvin Ridley, Christian Wilkins, Justin Fields, Kirk Cousins, and L'Jarius Sneed. And for the bust, 3 of them, all wide receivers. Maybe a little bit of a sign. Go watch our video. Don't pay wide receivers. Gabe Davis, Keenan Allen, Odell Beckham.
some of the guys in S you can move to A, but like I agree, like it's S because there's expectation. Like
Yeah.
Zach Bond, for instance, like J.K. Dobbins, like no one was like, oh, they're doing nothing this year. Like it's just like maybe they'll make the team.
Yeah. Yeah. Jerry Judy is a guy that got shitted on by fucking Steve Smith, bro. Like no one wanted to fucking touch that guy. So shout out to the list, bro. I think that's gonna do it though. All right.
That's it.
We got your week 14 recap. We had a little free agency grades for you guys. Great stuff, Max. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you guys aren't already. Make sure to like the video, comment down below any thoughts, opinions that you guys have. Who was your guys' free agent winner, grade, whatever? Are we missing out on someone? Maybe there's someone on the lower tier that we're not talking about. Let us know down in the comment section down below. Me and Max will probably be back a little bit earlier next week. Since I'm going to Vegas, we'll probably do the show Sunday night and the show will come out Monday. I know we've been busy on both of our ends. Me and Max have been pretty busy in the month of December. So we're getting out these podcasts a little bit late to you guys, but we're still going to get it out. We appreciate you guys rocking with us. Appreciate all the love and support. We will see you guys next time. All right. Peace.